sound like I'm going too crazy, but I feel like since the reveal of the Black Panther trailer and the roadmap, despite not really having any dates for that solidly in place, that a lot of people in the community really shifted their, I guess, perspective on where this game is going, and are essentially saying this is the game's year for essentially a big comeback. Now, is that right or is that wrong? Now, I also want to just quickly mention this, as you can see on screen, which is phenomenal. This is by a dude on Twitter who goes by the name Yours Rock Rider, and he does some incredible artwork. I'm going to link this official post in the description below that was done by him basically, and I mean, let me know what you rate this off, I guess, out of 10. 1 being terrible, 10 being absolutely amazing. Let me know in the comments below, but he does some incredible work. But in today's video we have a ton of stuff to actually cover, from a release date for the MCU skins, the free roam mode which is coming with Wasteland specifically as that biome, and more, way more. That's really going to shift your focus and be like, well, do you know what, they're actually pulling this game back a whole lot more than I thought they would be. So it's going to be a great one. Grab yourself a snack and don't forget to check out Instant Gaming. They do a bunch of cheap games for an incredibly cheap price. It's unbeatable, it really is. I always get my PlayStation cards from them, so go ahead and visit that. The link is in the description below. So to kick it off with the most important statement that has been made, which was on the developer live stream, is regarding, well, first of all, I want to say the free roam mode is the patrol mode, and right now it's technically only going to be for one biome, because when the Black Panther DLC trailer was revealed and then they announced patrol mode and so forth, I was like, well, this is going to be a ton of fun. I cannot wait to jump into daytime maps, I guess you could say, and explore in general. But we now know that's limited. However, they did say if it turns out to be popular, which I genuinely think it will be without a doubt, then they're going to go ahead and look into making it available in more different biomes. So that's when we're going to be talking about the jungle, of course, for Wakanda in general, Black Panther's DLC, and that's where things get a whole lot more exciting. Now, regarding the Black Panther expansion, they did say they are working on the most challenging content in the Black Panther expansion, and it's another reason as to why they're going ahead and upping the power level cap. And let me know how you guys feel about that as well. I mean, right now we know it's a lot harder technically to get to level 50, but in terms of the power level cap, that's a huge thing, right? So what are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments below. But getting into the bigger information regarding the MCU skins, it did actually say on the roadmap that it's technically MCU inspired, right? We've now been told since then not to worry about that word inspired, and that in other words, like, hey, it quite literally is MCU skins. It's not going to be something completely random and different that, you know, we're going to expect in that, I guess, perspective. So that's great. They said for the release date we are looking at, well, around the Red Room event. Now the Red Room event is technically meant to kind of clash with the Black Widow movie, which is May 7th, I believe. So if it's May 7th, then that's when the Red Room event is going to be, so that's when we should go ahead and get the MCU skins as well. I think at that moment in time as well, considering how much of a demand there has been for the MCU skins, they're really going to be able to tell, like, was it worth it in terms of their microtransactions. It's heading straight to the marketplace. There's definitely going to be tons of them that I think are going to be mega hard to resist, and in turn you're going to go ahead and buy the new packages, alright? So we always have to look at what they're probably targeting in a business perspective or a tactic, and that would definitely be one of them, 100%. I mean, it's a no-brainer because of the demand for it. If there's not enough sales, I would just be crazy and they'll figure that, hey, this wasn't even really that worth it after all. But I can't see that exactly being a situation. So either way, definitely very exciting stuff. Now, a big thing here is, and this is where it can, I wouldn't say it can go south. This is something that we've been talking about in I guess the last couple of videos, right? The free roam aspect of this game is what's going to be huge. I think as far as like the Black Panther DLCs and of course the MCU skins and just DLC content in general, I think that patrol mode being giving you that ability to free roam and explore, right, is what can really I guess take this game to the moon, right, or not. Like if it turns out it's just boring and there's not I guess a lot of stuff going on, then it's almost like, hey, what's the point of this, right? There's no point just roaming about. But we already know that these random enemies are going to be coming up, and from time to time there's going to be reasons why you want to go ahead and do this. Now the reason I say that is because it links to another point I want to make real quick, and this was posted on Reddit and then I believe it got an answer. So it was a question that says, will we have the ability to play some war zones and then missions without any AI, or possibly less than 4 of them? As to that's something that Phil, I believe, one of the developers, Vince Napoli, I think it was, top of my head, actually responded to that, saying that he can safely say that this is something that they have always wanted to pursue, and right now they are in fact doing so, and more info on that should be coming soon. So again, when you link these two things together, so the patrol mode and then, you know, a mode where you're not able to play with as many AIs, and I mean even taking a look at like the situation where you can go ahead and now play as the same characters in co-op, like all 3 of these things are huge steps into the future of this game. It's almost like the foundations of the game, right? Because it's almost like things that should have been in the game but weren't in the game. It had a long time of people just complaining as to, hey, why are these features not in the game? And those were essentially the core fundamentals, the foundations of the ground for this game to then allow to go higher. And I think this is what this year is going to be all about for it, where they're just basically, long story short, laying these foundations down, laying these key characters down, and then they can just build on top of that. I know there's been a lot of questions regarding the Spider-Man DLC, which was a little bit random because of course we haven't had any information for that whatsoever. I genuinely thought that when we had the teaser, I think it was like look at the sky or watch for the sky, that we had the, I guess, some sort of like assumption that it's probably going to be Peter Parker, which now we know wasn't the case. It was basically Black Panther. But I think that people are saying that Spider-Man's going to release before Black Panther, but because we know Summer and Beyond is where Black Panther laid in the roadmap, that could go technically all the way to the end of the year. So people are saying Spider-Man's going to come before that, but if that was the case, he definitely would have got an announcement on that stream. It would have been a no-brainer to put side by side, you got Spider-Man's DLC and then you got Black Panther's DLC. But I mean, my expectations are high now. I'm not gonna lie, in terms of like the characters in general. I mean, even when you take a look at like the texture quality, for example, with Black Panther, it just looks great. You can't go ahead and say this doesn't look good. So I guess it's one of those things. They've proven themselves. Let's just see how it pans out, and then we'll ultimately be able to figure out if they can't rekindle everything that they lost from last year and rebuild this year, then surely that's got to be the decision maker. But like I said, my hopes are high for this, and it's purely based on factual evidence that we have right now. But guys, I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and until the next one, adios amigos.